Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of our very own by Mazda Multimedia. This is your host for today, Meher Modi, and it's a privilege to host this show. Today we'll take a look at the 100-year-old Dadar Athornan Institute, established by the Athornan Mandal in 1919. And it is my privilege today to have with me its principal, Edward Dr. Ramiyar Karanjia. Welcome to the show, Dr. Karanjia. We have a short AV to show.
In order to do justice dual studies, the students have to work longer hours and hence they wake up early in the morning at 5:30 a.m. After doing kasti and having bath, they begin their day with a morning cup of tea. They first perform their morning prayers and then start with memorization of Avasthan texts.
The students devote about 3 hours daily in memorizing and revising their bantar. They memorize important prayers from the Khorde Avastha, 72 chapters of the Yasna and 22 chapters of the Visparad over a period of 5 years. Over and above that, they have to retain in memory all that they learn over a period of 5 to 7 years.
For more than 5 hours of the day, the students go to the Dadar Parsi Youth Assembly High School. After coming from the school, they do their homework, complete their books, prepare projects, and study for the upcoming tests and exams. Specialized teachers for maths, science, Hindi, Marathi, and social sciences come to give them tuitions. This takes about 4 hours of the day.
Weekly classes for religious knowledge and Iranian history are conducted by our principal, Reverend Dr. Ramiyar, Karanjia. There are special classes for languages, dramatics and interpersonal skills. Institute students also take part in creative seminars and workshops.
There is a computer room where children can access computers for fun and learning activities. Computer training is provided for school as well as recreational purposes.
Food is quite sumptuous, thanks to community members often sponsoring food in memory of departed ones as well as on happy occasions. Along with meals, outings like picnics, movies, eat-outs are also sponsored.
With work also comes play, though it's precious little. The students have facilities for indoor games like carom, chess and table tennis, and outdoor games like cricket, football and basketball. There is a small playground for younger children. There are regular weekly classes for football training.
Sarosh, Panabad, good night all of you.
Dear Ramya sir, thank you for sparing the time to be with us today. Please tell us something about the history of the institute and its distinguished ex-students, and also your role within the institute.
Thank you very much, Meher, and thank you Mazda Multimedia for having me for our beloved Dadar Athornan Institute. As you just now mentioned, Meher, the institute was started in 1919, more than 100 years back. And today it is known as the Dadar Athornan Institute, but before it was known as the Athornan Boarding Madressa. But our community very lovingly knows it by the name of the Dadar Madressa. In its 100 years history, more than 500 Athornans have passed through the portals of this great institute. And in the past century, we had many Dasturjis in our community. Out of them, 8 of the Dasturjis are from the Dadar Athornan Institute, including Dasturji Dr. Hormazdyar Mirza and many others. And the present Dasturji Khurshid is also an alumni of the institute. So our institute has given the community hundreds of Yozdathregar Morbids, Panthakis, Boywalas, religious scholars and madrasa principals, and has played a very, very important role in our community.
So tell me something about your days at the madrasa, as you are an ex-alumnus of this august institute, and what is the difference you feel between then and now?
I have been attached to this institute since the last 47 years, non-stop. I came in 1974 as a student under Principal Edward Rustamji Panthaki. And today what the madrasa is greatly what Rustamji has made it. I was a student for 6 years. Then for 7 years I did college over there. Then I was a teacher and then a vice principal. And since the last 27 years, I am the principal. So in this long journey, I have had the good fortune of being a student, teacher and principal. And I am aware of each and every nook and corner of what an education at this institute should be. And that has helped me a lot when I started serving as the principal. Of course, times change, and with that, certain things have to change, but the core values have to remain the same. So keeping that in mind, the madrasa is functioning and by the grace of God doing well today.
That's very heartening to know. And it's been quite some time since you were associated, so you must know the ins and outs and workings and the inner way a morbid is actually supposed to be brought up. Which brings me to my next question. Our community is said to be shrinking, and that is a topic for an entire different discussion. But what do you think are the steps that can be taken for increasing the number of morbids in our community?
Generally today we feel that the shrinkage of the morbid is of something recent making. But you all would be very surprised to know that in the beginning of the last century, that is more than 120 years ago, also it has been recorded that people have said that the morbids are decreasing and we will not have anybody to pray for the dead. So it is not an issue of today. And you will be surprised to know that when the Athornan Mandal started the madrasa 100 years ago, it was to answer this issue itself. So shrinkage of morbid is not a present day thing. Now, at an average, the madrasa is able to give 2 or 3 full-fledged morbids to the community every year. That itself may not answer all of the problems of the community, but it is very necessary that the madrasa keeps giving at least 2-3 full-fledged morbids so that the needs of the Atash Beram, the needs of Yozda Thregari is looked after. Today what the issue is that there is not a dearth of morbid as such, but those who have been qualified are not willing to take up morbidi as a full-time vocation or profession. Many full-fledged priests are not serving as priests because there are limitations in this profession and vocation. So many things have to be combined. So our madrasa is like a university. It churns out full-fledged priests. Now it's up to the community how to accept them, how to give them a good level of remuneration, a good livelihood. And then I think the problem of the shrinkage of the morbids will lessen to a great degree.
So then, if I may ask, what is the main source of the income of the institute? Because you have quite a number of boarders, and you have to look after their food, their clothing. They're going to school, and these days even schools have projects, etc. So what is your source of income, and what would you like the community to do to help you?
Thank you for that wonderful question, Mayor. The Dadar Athornan Institute is a public charitable institute, and it runs on donation from people, from public, from individuals, from charity trusts. And the way things are going, the way it's so expensive, everything is so expensive, it's really difficult for us to make 2 ends meet. The expense of the institute on a student comes to about 200,000 rupees, that's almost 2 lakhs per annum. And that we greatly get it from public charitable institutes, trust, and middle class Zoroastrians. The middle class and upper middle class Zoroastrians are our main patrons. We have several schemes like lunch sponsor scheme, dinner sponsor scheme, student maintenance scheme. So people are coming up, but then it's more or less hand to mouth. So we wish to create a corpus so that tomorrow we will not have to depend on donations on a day-to-day basis. So even during our centenary 2 years back, we had appealed to the community to help us, and they had come in a good way. And I hope and pray that the community keeps helping our institute in this way, because only if the community helps us with the finances, we can give quality Morbids, full-fledged priest, Yozdatregar Morbids, who some of them may become scholar priest for the future.
That's very heartening to know. So, being a scholar priest, I would like to ask you, do you think the religion is followed the way it is supposed to be in these times? Because, today we are seeing a lot of modern thought, a lot of individualism. So what is your thought on that?
I am fortunately in touch with the community through the institute and through my students, through my classes. And through that I have seen that there is a lot of love for the religion and the community. There is a thirst of knowing about the religion and the community, its glorious history, its rituals, etc. So I don't think that the community doesn't want to know, or the community doesn't want religion. It is that whether the community is able to get what they want, whether we are able to give them in the right manner, in the right way, with guided courses and seminars and webinars which are happening nowadays. So many people today say that no, the people are not interested in religion, the youths are not interested in religion, but I beg to differ. If you give them religion, religious education in the right possible manner, then as a person, people have a thirst for religion, people have a thirst for prayers, people have a hunger for rituals, people have a hunger for religious knowledge. And I am very positive that our religion being so beautiful, it will never have worries. If somebody wants to learn, he will be more than happy when he learns it.
That's very nice to know. We've been through COVID in the past 1.5 years. That has changed the way the madrasa has functioned. Everybody thought that, it is going to go away after 2 months or 3 months and kids will be back, etc. That hasn't happened till now. So, from your teaching and learning experience about COVID, do you think that in the future, the madrasa might have day scholars going into the future? What is your thought on that?
Mayor, COVID and day scholar issues will take it differently. COVID, we have to do certain things because we are forced to do. It is not a choice. Today in COVID times, we are running madrasa online on Zoom. The DPYS school, and let me say this now that I am on it, that the madrasa, the Dadar Athornan Institute has existed because of the wonderful support of the Dadar Parsi Youth Assembly High School. When the madrasa reopened in 1966 as Rustamji as the principal, if the Dadar Parsi Youth Assembly and Mr. Dinsha Kapadia had not come to the rescue of the madrasa, then it would not have been at the position that it is over here. So the DPY High School is also running online, the madrasa is running online for the past almost now 1.5 years, but that is out of force. We are not very happy with it. We are just able to manage 1 hour of bantar with them. Whereas when they are with us, they are almost 3.5 hours of bantar, which is necessary for a child to become a Yozdatregar Morbid. Now, for a day scholar to give us 3.5 hours per day is almost next to impossible. And then if we take up day scholars, then we would not be able to focus on our own children. Even we have 2 bantar teachers. I myself add up as the 3rd bantar teacher. And in spite of that, we think that we can't give enough time to our own children. So then taking up added burden of day scholars would not be feasible, God willing, when the madrasa once again reopens. So now why we are doing it online? It is because we have no choice. We are not at all happy with it, with the quality which we should imbibe the students. But still it has to go on because we have no option presently. But as of day scholars, I don't see it coming in the future.
We sometimes hear that the principal and the teachers in the madrasa are very strict. So I would like to ask, and that is often the reason quoted why, parents don't want to put their kids in the madrasa apart from them, being with their family and staying at home. So what is the actual situation since you are with us?
Mayor, I told you I myself am a student of this institute. I have come through all the ups and downs at the institute. And I know today as a principal, I am more as a parent. I see myself more as a parent than as a principal or a teacher, because that has to be the role of a boarding school principal.
That's true.
To empathize and sympathize with students. On the one hand, we have parents who want their children to excel. On the other hand, there are teachers who want work out of the students, because mind you, teachers at the institute are not like teachers at school, that okay, you just explain to them a lesson and it's over. A teacher at the institute has to teach them, take up their work, see that they learn and are prepared for the exam. So of course we try to do everything out with love and compassion, but sometimes we do need to be strict when the work does not come out easily. But these things that you hear about, that children are being bashed and hit, that is all wrong. Sometimes we do have to make them sit for extra time. But just to give you one example, today 50% of our students are children of ex-students. What does that tell you? Why are ex-students willing to put their own children here? Because they know that with the strictness, with the discipline, the child will evolve into a wonderful human being. It's your second home, or perhaps I would say your first home, because children spend 8 to 10 years of their childhood over here. So yes, we do need to be strict with them, we don't get work. But parents come and say, Ramiyar sir, tamone je karvu hoy te karo, pan jao ke kaam kharach ke karine. And of course, because parents say, doesn't mean that we, okay, come on, let's do whatever we want. No, but parents also have that confidence in us. So just for those 1 or 2 stray cases that we may be seeing does not mean that there are black sheep everywhere.
Is there any difference between a normal childhood, so-called normal childhood, and a childhood at the madrasa? Because it just seems, and I am of the personal opinion that, soti aage cham cham to vidya ve dham dham. So is there any difference you feel because you have children of your own?
I myself am a parent of 2 wonderful children, and my motto is democracy with discipline. That's my motto for bringing up children, for all parents, that there has to be democracy. Give them freedom to grow. Don't start focusing your own thoughts on them. Don't make them what you want to be them. Let's see how they are growing, and then you can trim when it is wanted. So even at the madrasa and at my own home, my own motto is democracy with discipline.
That can probably be a title of your next book since you're a prolific author. You have also started a lot of activities which were previously not done at the madrasa. So the whole schedule which you've just described is very regimented. So can you throw some light upon the new activities which you have started and how they're benefiting the students?
Yeah, when I became the principal, I knew what a student would miss, because I myself had missed most of those things. But there is a tight rope to walk. And so what I missed most was doing art and craft in school, which was not allowed when I was a school student. I loved music, but music was not allowed in school because we needed to devote more time to prayers. So one of the first things I did was to allow art, this creative things, because they give freedom to you to express yourself, because the children are too much bound up at the institute. But then the outward thing, outward activities like playing, going to the mall, going for McDonald's, going for Domino's, going for a movie. So those experiences I started with the children. Like not much, it would be just once in 4 months or once in 3 months, but yet children can look forward to that. Oh, we have a day out today. Picnics. Of course, during Rustomji's time also we had picnic once a year, overnight picnics, but such outings were made more, so that children feel more at home. We had Parents' Day for the students, only 1 or 2 hours in the evening once a month. And then the Amabai Pitit school had 1 full day. So the parents requested that you give 1 full day as parents' day when children can come home. But then we had one problem, that many of our students are from outstation. What to do about them? They will feel, because their parents cannot take them 1 day here and there. So then, seeing both the things, then we came to the conclusion that okay, we'll give them half a day. From 12 o'clock to 7 p.m. they can go, move out with their parents wherever they can go. If they're staying near, they may go home, but parents can take them out for an outing. So such small things, but which can make the life, the difficult life at the institute, more bearable for the child.
That's very heartening to know that you're not very strict and regimented, even though your students have to follow that life, and you're very flexible and bringing about new innovation as time goes by. What is your succession plan for the institute, and what do you think your successor or what a Morbid should be?
See, to be honest, any person who has love for children, empathy for children, some amount of religious knowledge, knowledge about morbidity, such a person is a good incumbent of the position of the principal. And more importantly, that person has to have good connection and rapport with the parents, with the management and with the community. Nature abhors a vacuum. So as and when the time comes, the person will come and things will move ahead in a much better way, because the person will have a more vision, a different outlook, which is what is required.
So Ramiyar sir, any last words for the community?
Yeah, Mayor, there is something very important that I would like to share with our dear viewers today. Being with the Priestley Institute for so many years, and then talking with my ex-students and their reactions to me, and what they tell me about what they would like the community to do for them, that I would like to share. Because we know that there are, as you rightly pointed out, that there are fewer Morbids today. And how can we have more Morbids? And now the answer is in the hands of the community. One very important thing is that the community has to give love and respect to the Morbids. Without even saying, okay, you are always asking, demanding from the Morbids. Or today you will say his dress is not good, his mannerisms are not good, today he is looking sleepy. We always keep criticizing the priest. Please don't do that. If consider them a member of your house family, first of all, have empathy for them. In the past 150 years back in the villages, every Panthaki was considered as Gherno Dikro, one of the sons of the family, and that's why there was so closeness. Nowadays you see there is so much distance between the Morbids and the Bedins nowadays. Second thing is give them respect. Like one of my Bedin friends pointed out to me that once when the Morbids went into an Uthamna, to start an Uthamna, the entire congregation stood up and gave them respect. Now how it would have warmed the cockles of the heart of the priest to see such respect for them. And then my friend told me that he saw one of the best rituals being performed. So that is their first learn to give them. Of course they require money, because priesthood is not a very paying proposition nowadays. As we all know, a person who is in a cushy job would earn 10 times more than a priest. Right. But still, economic aspect, financial aspect, of course, you should give priest as much as possible. So I'll just request my community members that my students, our students, the Dadar Institute students and all the other Morbids, give them your love, your affection, your respect, and give them with full heart, and see how priesthood comes up in the future. Thank you very much.
That was our very own Edward Dr. Ramiyar Karanjia. Thank you for being with us today, and thank you to all the viewers for watching our show. Do hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, this is Meher Modi signing off. Thank you.
Ahura Mazda is the greatest decider in all matters. It is he who has given us birth in this great Mazda Zartosti religion. Then why do we stray? Why do we look elsewhere? For all the answers that we seek are within our own religion. You only have to look. Wherever you are and whatever you do, if ever your faith in your religion, your prophet, or your God is threatened, remember to say firmly, never without my religion.